I think I'm watching more stuff on dinosaurs. This one's 9 dinosaur myths you still believe. Listen, everyone has the thing that they love. Some are horse girls, some love their trains, some love their guns. I love dinosaurs. Let's I guess we'll go ahead and like and subscribe. Of course. And as always, I'll link the original video in the description below. So you can give the original creator a like and subscribe as well. Let's get started.
Dinosaur you've ever seen is probably wrong. Because out of more than 1,000
Chicken.
species we've discovered, we only know a handful of their
Chimkin.
actual colors. Some had
Oh.
stripes, some were red, and others were black with an iridescent shine. In fact, these are the only dinosaurs we actually
Oh, so cool. Oh, this looks like it's like a blue jay. I guess that kind of would make sense though that some of them may share color combinations that modern birds or animals have. I mean, because like realistically, how many are going to have like neon stuff? Like I mean, obviously, like the males tend to have brighter plumage, but like the earthier tones and stuff like that to blend in their environment makes a lot of sense. This is really cool. Like a like an early version of a crow. Let's see. Or not Ankylosaurus. This one's like looks really pretty.
know the color of. For the rest, from T-Rex to Stegosaurus, we have literally no evidence of color at all, which means every reconstruction you've ever seen is pure speculation. Color
Sure.
almost never survives fossilization.
Makes
but
sense.
in rare cases, an impression of the skin does, which means even without their color, the way those scales are arranged can hint at patterns they had in life. So instead of the typical dinosaur you imagine, think of predators with tiger-like stripes or camouflage we've never even seen before. And if you've ever wondered how something the size of a bus could hunt at all, there's a T-Rex in this picture, and you probably can't see it. That's the power of camouflage. And now, that's just the surface, because the next myth, it's hiding right inside their bones. For a long time, we thought dinosaurs were basically like crocodiles, cold-blooded animals that relied on the sun for warmth. And honestly, that made sense, until we started finding dinosaurs deep in the Arctic. That's when the problem flipped, because if dinosaurs could live in the cold, they couldn't be like crocodiles at all. Dinosaurs had to be warm-blooded instead, like birds, the only living dinosaurs, which thrive in some of the coldest environments on Earth.
That makes sense.
And for a moment, it felt like we finally solved dinosaurs. But that answer broke just as fast, because if massive dinosaurs like sauropods had bird-level metabolisms, they would have trapped heat so efficiently, they'd essentially cook themselves alive. So dinosaurs don't fit neatly into either box. That means we're still learning so much about them.
You think they're kind of in
every
their
day,
own kingdom?
including the fact that dinosaurs weren't the first giants to walk the land. And they weren't even close to the beginning of it either. Over 400 million years ago, before trees even existed, the largest things on land weren't plants or animals.
Because, like, I think it's by human nature, we all want to put everything in a neat little category. And while, for the most part, it makes sense, what if dinosaurs just honestly were their own category? Like, some sort of bridge between reptiles and birds, I'm not saying, like, you can't. I don't know if you can have cold and warm-blooded creatures. It seems like a possibility, but I think I know science likes to have organization, and maybe it's too organized to the point where, like I said, maybe I mean they're extinct, right? So we have several extinct species out there, several mammals, and whatever the heck a platypus is. They're alive, but like platypus, they're a strange phenomenon. So maybe it's just one of those things where you can't really categorize them as one or the other, and they might go into it like maybe they were cold-blooded, but had, well, I guess birds have feathers, but well, you would think about the sauropods, they're so big, And they probably eat so much that they probably have like fat and stuff they can reserve, right? I would think. So maybe they were cold blooded. They just had to eat a lot. And they constantly migrate too. So I don't know.
They
Interesting.
were giant fungus, with some reaching nearly 30 feet tall,
Mm.
turning the ground into something closer to an alien landscape than any forest
Oh.
today. And somehow, things only got stranger as time went on. Once plants took over, oxygen levels climbed even higher, and that's when
Mm-hmm.
insects took things a little too far. Giant millipedes like Arthropleura, stretched over 8 feet long,
Oh god.
dragonfly-like insects such as Meganura ruled the skies with wingspans the size of falcons.
No,
And of
thank
course,
you.
eventually, life took another step. Before dinosaurs, the first truly large land animals weren't reptiles at all. They actually belonged to a lineage that would one day lead to mammals. And some, like Dimetrodon, grew
Oh.
sails taller than a grown man. So dinosaurs weren't the first giants to walk the earth. And the only reason we even know about any of them, dinosaurs included, is because a tiny fraction of them got lucky and fossilized.
Mm.
Which leads to the next mistake. We think we know where dinosaurs lived, but we really don't. I mean, sure, we have dug up skeletons on every single continent, from Allosaurus in North America to Hadrosaurs in Antarctica, but the truth is, our map of dinosaurs is full of blanks. Fossils
Mm-hmm.
don't form everywhere. Whole environments, rainforests, mountains, deserts, are practically black holes for them. That means entire ecosystems of dinosaurs have existed and left us no trace at all. Take the eastern United States. It's massive, yet its dinosaur record is almost entirely empty, and that emptiness totally distorts our picture of dinosaurs. It's like trying to learn about modern animals from a single zoo exhibit. We call Patagotitan
Oh,
or
yeah.
Argentinosaurus the biggest dinosaurs ever, but what are the odds we've actually found the true record holder? And the same goes for super predators like T-Rex. The fossil record is so incomplete that we're almost certainly missing animals even larger. Now think
Sure.
about places like the Amazon or the Congo. Rainforests
Or
are
like
some of
the
the worst
ocean.
environments for fossil preservation, but also some of the most biologically diverse places on Earth. If every animal living in those jungles vanished tomorrow, future scientists would barely even know they existed. So we can really only dream of what prehistoric life might have been out there. So, if the ground can't even show us where dinosaurs lived, it tells us even less about how they lived. Behavior almost never fossilizes, which means almost everything you see in documentaries,
It's
like birds
speculation.
migrating or
They
predators
just guess,
ambushin',
yeah.
isn't recorded. It's reconstructed from what little fragmentary remains are left behind. They're good guesses, but the reality is,
We don't
behavior
know.
disappears the moment it happens. However, every once in a while, a fossil captures a moment so clear it removes the guesswork entirely. Like the oviraptor, found sitting directly on its nest with its wings stretched protectively around its eggs.
Aw.
Or Psittacosaurus, preserved beside a cluster of juveniles. Proof that some dinosaurs likely cared for their young. And then there are the fighting dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, the
A
famous
Velociraptor and
one.
Protoceratops locked together in a battle to the death. Those rare moments are the only times fossils show us how dinosaurs actually acted. And one of the biggest things they reveal is that we completely misunderstand the herbivores. Because in reality, some were just as deadly, if not more so, than the predators. Getting
Of
anywhere near
course.
something like a Triceratops horn or an Ankylosaurus tail club would have been a fatal mistake. But with others, like Hadrosaurs, that danger isn't so obvious. There's nothing about them that immediately screams danger. So they commonly get written off as easy prey. Except in many cases, that
They
assumption
could probably
couldn't
kick.
be more wrong. Take Gigantosaurus, one of the largest non-sauropod animals to ever live. It stretched nearly 50 feet long and weighed more than 15 tons. At that size, sheer mass alone was enough to be lethal. And even the hadrosaurs that weren't built like tanks still weren't safe to mess with. A kick from one of those animals would have been powerful
Yeah.
enough to seriously injure or kill a predator that got too close. But brute force wasn't their only option. Trackways show hadrosaurs moving together in big groups, which meant if a predator showed up, it could suddenly have 10 rushing at it. And for animals like Parasaurolophus, that response could spread fast. The hollow crest in its skull likely worked like a built-in horn, letting it call out and warn others. So these weren't easy prey at all. For a predator like T-Rex, hunting them meant playing it smart. Because going after the biggest, strongest animals is how predators get killed. In the wild, a single bad injury can be a death sentence. And when
Infection.
you weigh 8 tons and only have 2 legs, the margin for error is tiny. That's why most of T-Rex's targets weren't full-grown adults. They were the young, the sick, or the already dying. So that famous T-Rex versus Triceratops showdown, it probably never played out the way we picture it. It probably looked more like this. A hadrosaur vertebrae with a T-Rex tooth still buried inside it. The bone around the wound had started to heal, which means the animal somehow got away. But the important part isn't that it survived, it's that it was bitten in the tail, meaning the Tyrannosaur likely ambushed its prey and struck from behind. But even with everything we know about T-Rex, people still love comparing it to one animal in particular. I'm talking about the age-old debate, T-Rex versus Spinosaurus.
Oh,
This myth stuck
jeez.
around thanks to the collective trauma we all got from Jurassic Park 3, but the reality is, these animals were nothing alike. T-Rex was built for land, armed with the strongest bite force of any land animal to ever live. Spinosaurus, on the other hand, wasn't the
Ocean.
monster from the movies.
Fish.
It was a semi-aquatic hunter built for catching fish. So asking who would win is like asking who wins between a shark and a lion. But this is a bigger problem than just one bad matchup. Because
Yeah.
pop culture doesn't just mash animals together, it mashes time together.
Yep.
Megalodon and the dinosaurs get shoved into the same era all the time. And it makes sense. When you hear a giant prehistoric predator, your brain puts them into the same box. But the timeline says they don't belong together at all. Megalodon showed up after the dinosaurs were already extinct, around 23 million years ago, when the whales that evolved to hunt were taking over the oceans. At nearly 60 feet long and over 60 tons,
Look how
it
dopey
became
it
one
looks.
of the largest predators to ever exist. And
Meh.
unlike the dinosaurs, Megalodon lived uncomfortably close to us humans, dying out only
Ooh.
3.6 million years ago,
He, look at
practically
his
yesterday
smile.
in Earth's history. And those are the biggest dinosaur myths you might still believe. But before I go, I want to shout out one of my coolest subscribers, Wes. His mom reached out and
Oh.
said he's a big fan of the channel and that it's his birthday, so have a very special birthday,
Happy
Wes.
birthday,
For the rest of
Wes.
you, YouTube thinks you'll like this video, and Jehona, out.
Oh, that's really fun. It's really interesting. Yeah, I guess it's easy to understand that a lot of like walking with dinosaurs, it at the end of the day, it's just kind of entertainment. Um, I know scientists do what they can with the knowledge that they have. And like I said, some of it they can kind of guess based on, like we know birds stay really close to the nest. So the oviraptor being on the nest, you can assume that they're a pretty good parent or like all the other stuff. Um, yeah. Anyways, if there's anything you want to suggest for me to watch, as always, you can put it in the comments below. Or you can go to the Discord and suggest a video there. But, oh yeah, I think I've already mentioned it before, but go to Jay's channel, get a like,